Good afternoon and welcome to Brunel University London's Occupational Therapy Post-Registration MSc Webinar. During the next hour there will be two presentations, one from Dr. Georgia Spiliotio of Brunel, and who will be talking about the course, and one from Shu Hoi, who will be talking about her experience as a student here. At the end of their two presentations there will be an opportunity to ask questions. To do this, you should type your question into the panel in front of you and click Submit. You may need to open up your question bar at the right-hand side of your screen. It would be useful if you could also type your name so that we can read it out when we read the question. Okay, so our first presentation today is going to be from our student about her time here. So I have pleasure in introducing you now to Shu Hoi.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Shu Hoi and I'm from Singapore, which is an island country in Asia that is situated right above the equator. This means that we have summer-like weather 365 days. I am an occupational therapist in Singapore and have been working for almost 5 years in an acute hospital. I am here in Brunel because I have been given an opportunity to be sponsored by my hospital to pursue my postgraduate study. In Singapore, the highest qualification offered is a diploma. Therefore, Singapore occupational therapists often have to go overseas to pursue further studies. Although Australia is nearer to our country, they only offer a 2-year master's program compared to the UK, which is usually 1 year. In addition, I have several colleagues who are Brunel alumni, and they have highly recommended Brunel as a place to pursue postgraduate study. The lecturers here are researchers themselves who have published several papers and books in journal publications. Coming from a country where the occupational therapy profession is young, I found that I have gained much research experience by learning or hearing from the lecturers. As a geriatric OT myself, I chose Brunel as it has an Institute for Aging Studies, which conducts research in gerontology. Some of the lecturers are members of this institute, and it was my intention to work with some of them to learn from their vast experience, which I'm glad I had the opportunity to. These are the modules that I am taking for my course. It has a good mixture of learning more in-depth about research studies and reflections on occupational therapy practice. Some of these modules will be taken with the MSc Pre-Reg students, which provides me with more opportunities to interact with students outside my course. I enjoy my optional module on active aging as it provides in-depth study about aging-related issues that helps me to reflect on how I can improve my current practice. The lectures in the modules are usually taught by lecturers who are field experts. This gives me more opportunities to interact and gain insights from their experience. Another interesting module is the specialist practice. It allows me to choose a specific area of practice that I would like to study more in depth about. During the module, I get to interact with other academics to ask them questions about this area of practice, and I also get to initiate observation sessions at clinical settings. This experience is helpful for me as I can get to know more about OT practice in the UK. Brunel provides me with a lot of academic support. As an international student, I can attend free sessions on academic writing with the International Pathways and Learning Centre. Through the sessions, I also get to opportunities to make friends with other international students as we learn together. There is also the Academic Skills Centre, ASK, in the library that provides academic writing courses for Brunel students. I can also approach both centres for one-to-one consultation sessions on my assignments, and they have been very helpful in giving useful advice. Brunel has also set up a graduate school for postgraduate and PhD students. They conduct courses pertaining to research skills, and I have also found their sessions to be very helpful in preparing for my dissertation writing. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, so in my free time, I get to learn Spanish for free. Foreign language classes are conducted by the IPLC, and as a Brunel student, I can attend it for free and even get a certificate of achievement at the end of my classes. I also get to meet other Brunel students during classes and have put my learning into practice during my recent trip to Spain. I am staying in the school campus, which means that I only need to leave house 15 minutes before classes to reach there in time. As I am here with my husband, I stay in the studio flat, which has a small kitchen and study area. My block is in the Isambard complex, a place for postgraduate studies. Hence, you would not be disturbed by the late-night partying from the undergraduate students. There is a little about 5 to 10 minutes walk from the campus where I usually do my grocery shopping. Sometimes there would be activities organized by the student mentors, such as movie nights. There are many societies available in Brunel, and you can get to explore them during the Freshers' Fair. I am a member of the Brunel Occupational Therapy Society, and they will organize talks by other occupational therapists who would like to share their research topics or area of expertise. The Singapore Society was recently set up by other Singaporean OT undergrad students, and we were able to gather together to celebrate Chinese New Year about a month ago. Given the multinationality culture in Brunel, I'm sure you would be able to find someone from your own country too. The Occupational Therapy Department in Brunel has set up a wheelchair basketball society in collaboration with the Great Britain Wheelchair Basketball Association. I'm glad to be able to attend a wheelchair basketball leaders training last year when I learned to conduct simple training for people with disabilities. I've come to the end of my sharing. I hope that it has given you some insights into the course and life as a student in Brunel. I guess what I learned at the end of the day is that the learning experience is something that students carve for themselves, and everyone's experience would be different. Just as OT believe in participation in meaningful occupation, I hope that you too can find something meaningful for yourself here in Brunel. Thank you.
Thank you, Shuhoi, for such a great picture of student life. That's brilliant. Thank you. I will now hand over to Dr. Georgia Philatopoulou to tell us about the course.
Hello, I'm Georgia and I'm the program leader of the course. So I will give you a brief presentation about what this course entails, and then you could bombard me with lots of questions. So to begin with, the course is aimed at occupational therapists who have already got a first degree in occupational therapy. The most important part, the core part of the course, is that it is research-based. So along the lines, you will be able to expand and explore further your knowledge on occupational science, and you could develop further your reflective practice. But most importantly, you will learn how to critique the research around occupational therapy so that you will be able to embed this into your everyday practice. And you will learn how to design, how to implement, and how to evaluate a piece of research, which is going to be your own research as part of your dissertation project. One of the things that we are quite proud of in our department is that we've got staff which has a diversity of research interests. So this is a good thing for the students for attending the course because it gives them the opportunities to follow the research interest and be able to do a research project that they're really like. So that means that they could always have a supervisor who might be relevant to the topic area that they are interested in. And further on, we would support the students to be able to disseminate publicly the work and publish in journals and present in conference the research projects that they have done. One of the nice things that we are quite keen on at Brunel is to provide students with opportunities for interprofessional learning. So we are constantly working towards conducting interprofessional days, which are shared with other MSc programs, and that gives the students the opportunity to be with other students from other disciplines, like students from public health or social workers or physio students. And they could have a day on an area that would be actually a common interest for all of them. For example, a topic around dementia. We also have shared modules with other MSc programs, with the course of the MSc Neurorehabilitation, the MSc Public Health and Health Promotion, and with the MSc in Occupational Therapy for students who haven't got a first degree in Occupational Therapy. So this actually gives lots of opportunities for interprofessional learning and exchanging ideas among people from different disciplines. Another nice thing is that we can become quite flexible in mode of attendance. So whoever is interested in attending the course could do it as full-time student, which means that you have to be on campus for a year, attending 2 days per week. Or you could do it as a part-time student, which means that for 2 years you will have to be on campus for 1 day per week attending modules, and then the third year would be focused on your dissertation, and for that last year you don't have to be on campus. But for people who are interested just to improve their continuing professional development, they can actually do one module of the course, and actually that can work as for tasting the waters basically, and see how you're doing in an academic course after probably having finished high school many years ago, or university, sorry. So in that case, you could do one module and you could be an associate student, and of course the credits from this module would count afterwards if you decide to pursue with further MSc studies. So the course is on occupational therapy, but you can choose from a wide range of optional modules, and that can give you the opportunity to specialize in the area that you're more interested in. So this opportunity is actually given by at least a wide range of optional modules that we have, as a module in older people, or in aging, as Shihui mentioned before, or in pediatrics, or in mental health. But there are also other routes that could help you to specialize further in an area that you want. So for example, one of the modules, which is the specialist practice in occupational therapy, requests you to work towards an area that you choose yourself and get further and deeper knowledge in that area, and provide that they develop a portfolio. So this is something that you choose on what you want to work on, and you can take this further forward in your research design module, where you have to develop a research proposal, and again, this is something on a topic that you would be interested in. And following that, you can do your dissertation project based on your research design and on your specialist practice in OT topic. So actually that gives you the opportunity to specialize into one area quite a lot. We are also very keen to provide our students with any kind of support that they need, academic support or personal pastoral care. So we have lots of mechanisms that will help you to get more support from our staff. Each student has got their own personal tutor and this person can work as a reference point for each student to guide them through the course. And finally, by joining our course, you would be able to enjoy the campus life of Brunel, but Shihui has already talked excessively about this, and she was very praising. And you would be able to enjoy the London life as far as the workload permits you. So, going deeper into the course, it is 180 credit course for towards your master's degree, and you would have to do 7 taught modules plus your dissertation. The modules for the modules you have to attend taught sessions, which could be either in the form of a seminar or a workshop, or it could be workshops led by the students, or it could be self-directed studies, as for example in the module that I mentioned, for which you have to develop the portfolio in the chosen area, in your chosen area of practice. In this slide, you could see the 7 taught modules that we have available for next year. And on the right-hand column, you can see the options that you can have. So you would have to do the occupational science module, the evidence-based in OT module, the art of professional practice, research design, and approaches to research. And you could choose between functional neuroscience for rehabilitation or specialist practice in OT. And for second term, you could do cognitive and behavioral issues in neurorehabilitation or mental health or active aging or the children's module. Plus, you would have to do your dissertation in order to complete your master's degree. Again, in this slide, you could see some of the things that our previous graduates have said about us. So I could give you 1 minute to go through this slide, but it seems that previous graduates have focused either on, they have chosen us because Brunel is a very renowned and famous university in occupational therapy. They have praised the staff that they were teaching them during the course, and it seems that they had the opportunity to enjoy London life and campus life as well, which is quite important for people who want to come in London and do their study, but in the meantime enjoy their time as well. And quite importantly, we are a very multicultural university, so we embrace people from lots of different cultures and countries, and we try to support them into doing a degree in the UK and the demands that this entails. Also, when you do your master's in Brunel, you will definitely have the opportunities to conduct publishable research. So when you choose your dissertation project, you have the option either to choose one of the topics on which the staff is working on during that time, so be involved in staff's project, or you can choose your own topic and be supervised by an expert in the area. These are only two of lots of examples that we have that after the students completed their dissertation and they got their degree, we supported them in publishing the work. So these are 2 examples of papers, one published in the British Journal of Occupational Therapy, the other one in the Health Expectations Journal, for which we have supported students to publish their work, and we have worked with them for that. So actually this is a very good thing to do because you're doing your master's in order to improve evidence-based in occupational therapy, and in order to do that you need to disseminate your work. So we would definitely support you in that. We're very keen about this at Brunel. And finally, at Brunel, you have lots of opportunities to participate in sports. We've got gym, football pitches, tennis courts, etc. We've got art center and language center for people who are interested in. You've got your student union and all of these things that Shihui mentioned before. And for people who are interested to work part-time, actually a few hours on campus, we've got the job center that you could refer to, you know, if you're interested in doing some part-time job from time to time. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. If you have any questions for either Shuhoi or Dr. Georgia Spiliotopoulou, please type them into your question panel. We have a few questions in already, actually. The first question is, what is the difference between the pre-reg and the post-reg master in occupational therapy course?
The pre-reg masters is for the pre-reg masters, you could do a first degree in occupational therapy and your master's within 2 years' time. So actually this aims to people who haven't got a first degree in occupational therapy, but they have a first degree in an area which is relevant to occupational therapy. For the post-registration master, you have to be an OT already, so you have to have a first degree in occupational therapy.
Okay, thank you. The next question is the course HPC UK registered?
We don't, for the master's courses, we don't have to go through the HPC. This is something that relates more to pre-reg education. You have to, if you're working in the UK, you would already have your HPC registration in order to do your master's degree. So actually this is not relevant to the MSc postgraduate course.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, how much does it actually cost to do the course on a part-time basis? Do you know that? It might be something that we might be able to send to you.
Actually, this is on our main web page under the section of fees. But it is something around £3,700, I think, but let me just double check. In order to do 1 year of for each year of the part-time course, which is for which you would have to pay 2 years actually.
Thank you. Right, the next question, this is from Katie, who's interested in the materials and resources. Can she get hold of the books electronically, or are they all in paper form?
When you say material and resources, do you mean the reading list, or are you talking about the handbook?
I'm not quite sure. Katie, can you just perhaps confirm exactly what you were interested in with regards to the materials? And then we'll answer that question a little bit later. Okay, the next question is, with regards to placements, do we arrange the placements for them?
For the post-registration course, you don't have any placement. So this is a campus-based course and there are no placements. This actually relates to the MSc pre-registration course.
Right, the next question I've got through is, I'm a teaching assistant at the moment. Do you think the programme is suitable for me, and will it improve my research skills as an academic? This is from Asila. Asila, are you looking for a career change? Is that your general idea? Perhaps if you wanted to expand slightly on that, that would help us.
Well, Asila, I think that you would need to clarify whether you have a first degree in occupational therapy, because from your question I understand that you don't have a first degree in occupational therapy, but you would be interested to do probably that you would be interested in the MSc pre-registration course.
We've just got something in there from MSc. So I see you are already working in OT.
Okay, so you do have a degree in occupational therapy. Well, if you are already in occupational therapy, yes, definitely that would apply to you, because as I said, in the core element of the course is to help people improve their research skills. So if this is your main target, then this is definitely something for you.
Okay, and the next question through is, are there any bursaries that covers the fees?
I can send you a link about potential bursaries. That actually depends whether you're a home-based student or international student. If you're a UK-based student, which I think you are, Nora, there is an opportunity to get a loan through Brunel, and you could also apply to the COT for funding if you're interested to do the course. So you could get some help in relation to the fees. And actually, I've got the fees here.
Great, okay. Should we read out the fees now?
So the fees for a part-time student, home-based student is 3,650, and for international students part-time it would be 8,600. But for full-time course it would be 7,300 for home students and 17,200 for full-time students. But you could have a look on the webpage of Brunel, of the MSc OT postgrads at Brunel. Under the fee section you will find all the details about that.
Okay, thank you. Right, the next question is quite a specific one. This person's graduated in Romania 2 years ago, has an occupational therapy diploma from 2 years ago, is currently working as in occupational therapy in foster care, and the person wants to know if she needs to do any more courses.
Lionel, I'm not sure whether you mean whether you would fit the entry criteria of the course. We would need to look at your diploma, basically, at the university that you graduated it from, whether this is a WUFOD approved university. We would need to see at whether you've got a first or a second degree, and we will take this, basically we will look at your individual circumstances, and we will be able to decide on whether you would need, for example, to have more working experience, or whether you will need to do a language course. So that all depends on your individual circumstances.
Perhaps it would be best if Ionela contacts you.
Yes, I think that if you email me and you give me more details about your profile, I will be able to help you more with that.
Go through your specific circumstances then. Okay, the next question is, how many modules are we expected to complete during the 3 years of the course?
There are 7 taught modules plus the dissertation module. So that would be 8 altogether.
Okay, and then the next question is, what are the job prospects of OT in the UK for international students? Do you have any anecdotal sort of information of students, international students, and what they've gone on to?
Shihui, maybe from your experience. Again, I think that depends on your visa circumstances and how long you are, whether you would like to stay in the UK for a long time and work on this, and again, on your individual circumstances in terms of work permit and visa and stuff like this. I think that if I can get you in contact with international office, they would be able to give you a bit more information about that. But there is actually, all also it depends on your specialization and the demand in special areas in occupational therapy. For example, from personal experience, I have found out that there are many people from overseas who've got a specialization in pediatrics, and they have been able to work in the UK because there was a demand and home-based occupational therapists were not able to fill in these positions. Or again, that has to do with the demand in different periods of time in the NHS practice. So if again I get in contact with international office so that they give me more information about possibilities for staying after the course is completed, I think that would probably help you more.
Okay. The next question is, Ophelia is interested in why the course in England is a year when in other countries it's often a 2-year course. Do you know why that would be?
Ophelia, well, I think I cannot answer this question. The UK courses, the full-time master courses, are usually 1 year in the UK, but I'm not sure why this is different from Sweden.
What are the days, or how many days, to attend university on a part-time basis?
If you're doing the course part-time, you will attend 1 day per week for 2 years. And then the 3rd year, you don't have to attend any taught modules, but you would need to come to the university from time to time so that you meet with your research supervisor. Although if that is difficult for you, then always Skype, supervision through Skype could be arranged.
Okay. Could you explain exactly what you mean by a dissertation, and will they be expected to do a thesis?
Yes, actually, for your dissertation, you have to do to design, implement, carry out, and evaluate a research project. So after you do that, you have to write up your thesis, which is up to 18,000 words, and this is basically the work, the written report of the research that you have carried out yourself. As I said before, you would be welcome to join a project on which a member of staff is already working on, or you can come up with your own ideas about what you are interested in researching.
Okay. Is the MSc recognised in North America, USA or Canada?
Well, again, this is something that you could, this does not apply to the MSc. The Americans are interested in whether your pre-read degree is recognized, is a recognized degree. So you have to have an MSc in Occupational Therapy, but your pre-registration course needs to be recognized in America. I think that you can get more advice about that if you contact the American Association of Occupational Therapists. They would be able to tell you exactly what are the expectations in order to check whether you would be able to work there as an OT.
Okay, Jihan, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. It's from Mauritius. She's graduated from the University of Mauritius and would like to know, apart from September, is there any other intake or possibilities, say, perhaps to join from January 2017?
Well, if you intend to do the course as full-time or part-time, you would need to start in September 2016 if you want to do the course, as I said, the full-time or the part-time course. If you are interested in doing only 1 or 2 modules as an associate student, then you could do this at any time, depending, of course, on when this specific module is running.
Okay. What is the selection process for getting onto the course? And would she need to attend an interview? This is from Katie.
Well, you would have to submit an application form online through our main web page for the MSc OT postgrads. So you submit an application either for full-time or part-time attendance, and this goes to the human resources. So they would check whether you meet the eligibility criteria, and if there is a grey area, then I would be contacted, and you might have to do an interview if that's necessary. Otherwise, if you meet the eligibility criteria, there is no doubt about it, there will not be a need for an interview.
How many modules do you have to complete in a year if you've chosen to go part-time?
Well, if you choose to go part-time, you would have to do, for the first year, you would do 2 modules in term 1 and 1.5 module, I would say, for term 2. And then for year 2, I said 1.5 because one of the modules runs over to term 2. And for year 2, you would have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, 4 modules. And the third year, as I said before, it's your dissertation.
Okay. Mathilde, I just wanted to double check. Is it 2 days per week for the full-time programme?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Is there a possibility to specialise in sensory integration in the Year 1 full-time MSc?
Well, we do not have a sensory integration course here, so that's not a possibility as part of this MSc OT course. But if you are in the UK and there's nothing stopping you from attending something else as well at the same time. So if you want to attend a sensory integration seminar or short course in the UK, along with this MSc OT course.
The next question is, will the students be engaged in clinical settings, or will they just be observing from time to time?
Well, you don't have placements for the postgraduate course, so you are not supposed to be engaged in clinical settings, but as part of the work that you have to do, for example, when you have to develop your own portfolio, you might be engaged in networking activities, and you might want to go and attend or shadow an occupational therapist in a clinical setting, which would be relevant to your chosen area of practice.
Any further questions from anyone? Okay, the next question that's come through, are there any care modules, for instance, safeguarding?
There are sessions that you could do online if you're interested in, and as I said before, we conduct interprofessional days. So, for example, safeguarding might be one of the topics that you could do as part of an interprofessional day, but I won't be able to tell you now what are the specific topics for next year, but these kinds of things could be part of interprofessional days.
Okay, and Casey still wanted clarification with regards to the textbooks. So I guess again, Casey, this is the supporting textbooks, whether we can get hold of them electronically or whether she actually has to have physical copies of the textbooks. Would you know at all, Shuvai? How do you have your textbooks? Can you get hold of any electronically? Do you know?
There are some, most of the textbooks are in the library, but there are some that are electronics that you can use. And of course, they have some databases that might have e-books available. So depending on which kind of textbook you're looking for, you might be able to check with the librarian who can help you to find it.
Thank you.
And actually, our libraries subscribe with a wide range of electronic journals. So you could find loads of journals, paper publications online, and these are actually usually quite enough in order for you to do your coursework.
Thank you. There was just another question, just wanting clarification on the days expected, they would be expected to attend. Could you just go over that once more?
You would have to be on campus on, well, most likely on a Tuesday and a Wednesday if you're doing the course full-time. And if you're doing the course part-time, you would have to be one day, either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Thank you. Any further questions? Perhaps any questions for Shuhoi with regards to student life, what it's like? Okay, so we've got another question about timing. As a student, what time would they be expected to attend? So are those days full days or?
Yes, there are full days, but Shuhoi could probably tell you a bit more about it.
You want to go ahead, Shuhoi?
For me, I'm a full-time student, so on Tuesday I have lessons from 10 to 4, just on one module itself. And for Wednesday, I'll have lessons from one module from 9 to 12, and another module from 1 to 3. And there will be one research design module, which is from 3 to 4:30, but that will depend on which week is it, as we don't really meet every week.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any further questions? Whenabouts does the course start in September?
It would be the end of September. I think that this year we start around the 20th of September, but this is to be confirmed.
Okay.
Which would be the freshers week for students.
So there's a question here about extra help and whether this person can pay for it privately. I mean, they do have a lot of contact time anyway, presumably, with the lecturers to support them. So would that perhaps answer the question? Do you have any other
I'm not
things
sure
to
about
say,
what
or?
is the question about.
So I'm guessing that.
Are you asking about scholarships? I can prepare apart from, is there any other?
Familia, could you just clarify, are you asking about scholarships or extra financial help, or are you looking to see if you would be able to get extra private tuition for any of the modules? So again, is that financial support or extra tuition you're looking for?
Of course.
Okay, so we're looking at financial help.
Well, Familia is asking about extra help with modules.
So extra tuition.
Well, as I said, each student has their own personal tutor with whom you could meet and discuss academic issues. So, for example, when you get a feedback from one of the essays, you can discuss the feedback with your personal tutor, and he or she could give you more advice about what you could do in order to further improve for a next assignment. We have also got at Brunel services like the Ask service that they give you You've got sessions with them on how to improve your academic writing, how to improve your reference skills, and stuff around this. So we do provide support about this, and also students are provided with support from central services of Brunel University about doing data analysis for the research projects. So this is, I guess that's what you mean with extra tuitions. But if you're an international student, you also have the opportunity to come earlier before the course starts, and you can have a foundation course, you can have course to improve your language skills, etc.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. I mean, Shuhoi, do you have anything extra that you wanted to add to that as a student? You know the sort of support that you get alongside your studies?
I think the support here is quite good. You can actually, if you're unsure about anything about the modules, you can actually meet up with the module leader, and they're very helpful in answering and guiding you with your assignments. And if your concern is more regarding to academic writing, they actually have the graduate school who conducts courses on how you can do your literature review or your writing up, and also the International Learning Center that helps you with academic writing through one-to-one consultation as well.
Okay, thank you. Some more questions with regards to financial support. If there's any other financial support other than the scholarships, can any of it be paid in phases, etc.?
Well, again, if you go on the main webpage of the MSc course, you will be able to find some information about how this process could be facilitated for students, especially I think if they're international students. I think that there is some provisions about them paying in installments and stuff like that. So I could either send you the link to this information, or you could find this online under the section of fees. So,
I've got another question. Is it possible to get 8 weeks pre-sessional rather than 10 weeks due to personal circumstances?
sorry?
So this is down the bottom here.
English session.
Have you done this?
No, I think that might be something that we'll have to answer to you separately, SEL, and send you an email. Any other questions? Okay, that seems to be the end of the questioning. Thank you for attending our Occupational Therapy webinar. I hope you found it interesting and informative, and I hope that we will be seeing you at Brunel University, London next year. That is now the end of the webinar, but a recorded version will be available on our Brunel University website shortly. Goodbye, and thank you for attending.